then, as we all know, Vince likes to make his own characters. So that was one of his ideas to bring us in. And that's when they were doing the Shotgun Saturday Night. And I was in all the nightclubs and the subways and whatever. And that his idea was to create this crazy gimmick that's just going to get a lot of heat and attention from the religious groups. So yeah, so we started that way. And then the craziest part about that was when I think it's St. Patrick's Cathedral, a real big one in New York, we had the full gimmick on and we were standing there and they were filming us. And they were like, just keep your head down and just act like you're praying. And, you know, when we tell you to go, we want you to walk down the steps and we're going to film you. And then you're going to get in a limo. We're going to take off. I'm like, all right, cool. So we get out, we're walking up. I see the limo pull away and we're like, where's the limo going? Like, it's just, now here I am. I grew up Catholic. I was an altar boy for years. So having this big thing on, not that I was over the top religious, but it just was weird. But
not
we're standing,
a comfortable day at the office. Am I right?
Okay. Especially when we're standing in front of the church and the doors open and mass comes out and all the people start coming out. So there we are. I mean, I'm 6'2", Glenn's 6'4", got these big giant things on our heads, and the people start dropping to their knees and bowing and praying. And I'm like, oh shit, we're going to hell. I kept mumbling, we're going straight to hell. We're going to hell. Lady looks up at Glenn. Now Glenn with the piercings, so he had his nose pierced, he had his earrings, he was wearing the chain, he had the gimmick on and everything. So they're looking up and they start yelling at us about how we're going to burn in hell. This isn't a joke. You're not funny. So I'm like, we got to get down the steps. So as we get down the steps, the limo pulls back and it's a different limo. So it's a different limo. We jump in the limo, we're taking off and I'm in the back. I take the thing off, I throw it down on the floor in the limo. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, I can't. The privacy window in the front rolls down and there's Vince. He turns around, he goes, that was fantastic, that was awesome, I loved it, great job, love you guys, we're going to make a lot of money. And up goes the privacy thing. And I was just like, I don't know what to say now. But yeah, so that was the idea, to have us do that on Shotgun Saturday Nights. And then the storyline behind it was supposed to be, we were just so crazy, we just didn't care. The gimmick was crazy, we were crazy, we didn't care, we'd wear anything. And then the religious groups in Texas jumped in and they wouldn't let us wrestle in Texas. They flew us to Texas for one of the Shotgun Saturday Nights. They refused to let us wrestle. Yeah, so then the next week they had us on TV staring at little kids in the Disney store in New York, and then they had us arrested, and that was it. But they're undefeated. Flying Nuns are still undefeated. I have two gimmicks that are undefeated.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. When they arrested you, did you think that was the end of your run, or did you know you were coming back as the Headbangers?
No, we knew we were coming back as something else. Yeah, we knew something else was going on. We knew they were just killing it off, and that's how they wanted to kill it off, which was fine.
Talk to me about the main roster. I remember what Chaz said was you guys got the part-time deals. Like you said, you did TV. You guys were always in the mix, though. You know, you guys started getting a lot of TV time right off the bat, and you guys got over.
It was weird because when we first got there and stuff like that, they wanted to. Vince was very big on creating his own superstars. That's how Vince is. He wants to create everybody. So when we came in and we did I think we did a match against, it was PJ Walker and the Pug. And I think that's who our tryout match was. And we had a great match with them and everything else. And then the next, I'm sitting at home and I get a phone call and my wife comes in and she goes, it's Vince McMahon on the phone. And here I'm sitting on the toilet. I'm going, yeah, sure, whatever. Sure. I'm going, yes, Chaz, what's up? He's like, Glenn, Vince McMahon. What are you doing? I said, nothing, just sitting here, Vince. What's up? He's like, I came up with this idea. I want to call you guys the Flying Nuns. Great idea. It's a great idea. Can't wait for you guys to see it. So then he says, I need you guys to come up to New York to get sized for these costumes and everything else. So we're going, Flying, what the hell is this? So we thought he was changing our gimmick and everything else. So here, the whole concept behind the Flying Nuns. Everybody gets this wrong. We were the Headbangers first. We started as the Headbangers. He wanted to turn us into these Flying Nuns. the concept behind it was going to be, these guys are so crazy. They don't care what they wear. They wear skirts. They wear nun outfits. They don't care. So we went up and he's like, you remember Sally Fields and the Flying Nun? And we're like, yeah. He's like, and she had the really big hat and everything else. He's like, I'm going to put you guys in and call you guys the Flying Nuns. So it was pretty cool. I mean, you know, you do what Vince says. He's the boss. Just like any other job that you go to, you do what your bosses say, period. So we did it, and oh my God, we had so much fun on the, you know, Shotgun Saturday Night was invented, you know, around that time, going into, you know, the nightclubs up there and doing matches in these little tiny rings and stuff like that. We were on the very first Shotgun Saturday Night, and we were the very first team to get a win, and we beat the Godwins. And that's when Brother Love introduced us as the Flying Nuns, Sisters of Love, whatever they wanted to call us. So it was something else. And then we did vignettes all over New York. We went to New York, the big giant church up in New York, and we're standing out there, and Vince is, you know, they told us go up to the church and act like you're praying and stuff like that. We're going to do a distance shot and everything else. We're in the back of a limo, the things up and everything else. So we don't know. So we go out, we're doing it down like this. And all we hear is ding, ding, church lets out. So we're standing there and we're like this. And here I got all the piercings. My nose is pierced. My beard's done. And, you know, Chaz was his piercings and everything else. Little old lady comes over, starts praying next to us. Then she looks up and she sees all the beard, and she starts flipping out. She starts hitting us with her purse and everything else. And then we look back at the limo, and then we see the front window come down, and Vince go, hey, get in the car. And it just goes right back up. And then we get in the car, and he puts out the center's the divider, and he goes, that was awesome. So we didn't care. I mean, you know, you don't care. You want to be, you know, involved in TV and stuff like that. And back then, at that time, that's when, you know, the Monday Night Wars were getting started, and, you know, the Attitude Era was developed, and things like that. And we were still just two kids that were living way past our dreams. You know, like I never dreamed I would be on that kind of stage or anything else. I was wrestling to take out the aggression that I had built up because I wasn't playing football or high school wrestling anymore. And, you know, if you beat somebody up, then you go to jail. So hey, let me go down to the school and do this, and might be a little bit better. So, you know, we felt, you know, grateful, you know, for the most part to being down there and being in the WWF at the time and stuff like that. We didn't look at it like, I mean, you know, looking back at it now, I can 100% say to this day, till I'm blue in the face, the most underrated, unappreciated tag team ever is us. When anybody ever talks about great tag teams, you never hear anybody talk about the Headbangers. And I'm sorry, the stage dive, the finisher, is the best tag team tandem move ever. You can talk about the 3D that doesn't have the timing that the stage dive has. You can talk about LODs, you know, whatever they called that. There's no timing in that. We did a tag team thing that took two people to be on the same page at the same time. I will fight anybody that wants to say anything different. There is no doubt in my mind, and I will say it until I'm blue in the face, the stage dive and the Headbangers are the most underrated team ever.